Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla. I am the mom of two autistic boys. And my youngest son, well, honestly, both of my kids have struggled with sleeping. I just wanted to share some of the things that helped us to get them on a regular sleeping routine. So I'm going to start with a shopping list of some things that you will need in order to implement this routine that we did. And I'll put a link to the items that we specifically use in the description. All right, so to get started out, this is a process. It'll take about, I would say, 2 months to implement this sleeping routine, and that's just because 2 months is generally the amount of time that it takes for a habit to form, and that is what we're trying to do here. So during this 2 months, it is very important that you all stick to the routine and don't deviate at all. What we're trying to do is use your child's need for routine in order to benefit everyone. So not just you, but them. Sleeping is of course, it's very important to everyone, but specifically to neurodivergent people, sleeping is imperative. It cuts down on scattered thoughts and with symptoms for ADHD, and it also helps with calming anxiety in people with autism. So sleeping, it cannot be understated how important a good night's sleep is. So the first thing you want to do in this is to establish what your routine is going to be. And this is a nighttime routine specifically, so not so much during the day. For example, if your child has dinner at, we'll say 6 p.m., we want that to be a set schedule where at 6 o'clock every night your child is sitting down to eat dinner. After that, we'll say bath time is around 7 o'clock. So again, we want 7 o'clock to be the set time for the next 2 months where you are giving your child their bath. We're setting up this schedule where there are things leading up to bedtime so that your child will understand that each night I have dinner at this time, I take a bath, and then usually I know that bedtime is coming up. So they're coming to anticipate this time as the time for sleep. If we are setting our bedtime for 9 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, you're going to want to go into what I call low sensory mode. This means dimming the lights or if you have like a lamp that has softer lighting than the regular overhead lights, you want to switch to that lamp. So all of this is just getting the mind into the place of rest. If your child has a tablet that they are with throughout the day, if you can, I would say you can take the tablet 1 hour before bedtime so they won't have any screen time 1 hour before bed. But if your child absolutely cannot be without their screens or their tablets, no judgment, I understand. My youngest is the same way. Alternative that you could do is scheduling for the tablet to go into night shift mode during this time. So if you will go into the options for the tablet, there are time settings, and you can set it for the screen to dim the lighting on there, and also like cast somewhat of a warmer tint to it instead of the blue screen that tablets usually have. And you can also set the volume to lower during this time. So while this is specifically a nighttime routine, you do want to be focusing on tiring them out during the day. If they are not really doing much during the day, then they're not going to be tired when nighttime rolls around. So a lot of playtime during the day, probably some time outside, or just letting them burn that energy during the day. This is really going to help when it comes time to sleep. As an autistic person myself, I understand that what works for some doesn't work for everyone. We're all unique individuals. We just share some characteristics. So my sons, they need noise and a little bit of light to sleep. I am the exact opposite. I need it to be pitch black and no noise because I am a light sleeper. So it really just depends on your child. These next steps depend on your child. If your child does require some sort of noise in order to drown out their thoughts, I would recommend a white noise machine and to cut that on during this time. My oldest son, he used to require music. So we had a playlist set up for him on Spotify that was his bedtime playlist, which was just a bunch of very calm songs that he liked. Now that he's older, he just turns on the fan in his bathroom, and that's enough noise for him to get to sleep. For my youngest son, we do use a white noise machine for him, and it's usually set to probably the rain setting, which just sounds like rain falling outside. So if your child requires a night light of some sort, I'd recommend getting them a sensory light. These are lights with ambient lighting that relaxes the mind. Like if they're having a meltdown, then it will help to calm them, but it also helps to calm them so that they can get into a deep sleep. So I would recommend getting one of these sensory lights. We use the Galaxy one for our son, which is just some little stars around, but it also has like a little nebula. We don't turn the nebula on while he sleeps. It's just the stars because we don't want too much light. Just enough light to help him to ease some of his anxiety, but it's also dark enough in there for him to sleep and for his mind to know that he is supposed to be sleeping during this time. When it comes to pajamas, a lot of kids, they wear these, I'm not sure of what specifically they're called. I'll put a picture in here so that you'll know what I'm talking about. These pajamas, they are usually like on sale at Target and Walmart and stuff like that. I don't recommend these. And why that is because they're usually like a itchy wool material and they're tight fitting around the arms and the legs. And for me and for my sons, this is a surefire way to keep us awake. Of course, you know that for some people on the spectrum, certain fabrics are irritating. Tight-fitting fabrics and those that are of a synthetic type fabric or wool, anything like that. So what I would recommend for pajamas are loose-fitting cotton pajamas, shorts and short sleeves if the weather permits it. Now, when it comes to bedding, again, different people will have different preferences. For my oldest son, his bed is off the ground, like a regular bed with a bed frame that sits off the ground. But my youngest son, he does not like to be off the ground, so he has a platform bed, a toddler platform bed. I'll put a link to it in there, the one that we use for him. That really helps him because he was not sleeping when we had him in a regular bed that was off the ground. He just didn't feel secure. Even when we would put the bed against the wall, which is another thing I recommend. If they have a bed, I would have the bed at least touching 2 walls. It just helps with that sense of security. So also when it comes to bedding, if your child prefers a weighted sheets or weighted blankets, then I would recommend trying those out with them to see if that is a preference of theirs when it comes to sleep. It's not for everyone. My kids don't use weighted blankets or weighted sheets. They just don't like them. And I use them every now and then. I'll also recommend blackout curtains. A great set of blackout curtains will help not only with your child getting to sleep at night, but them sleeping longer during the day, in the early morning hours. So before we had the blackout curtains, as soon as the sun would rise, that shift in the lighting would wake my kids up. So the blackout curtains have helped with that, and they're sleeping a little bit longer in the morning hours. So for the first 2 months while you are setting this routine, I would recommend giving your child a little bit of melatonin. This is just allowing their mind to understand, hey, we're supposed to be getting sleepy at around this time. And the melatonin will help with that. It is not for long-term use. I would really just recommend it for maybe like a month or so. Or, you can just talk to your child's doctor to ask them about dosage and how long they should be using it. After the routine has been established, your child understands that at 9 o'clock, this is bedtime. At 8 o'clock is usually when they're starting to get tired and they lay down in bed and things like that. Then I would take the melatonin out of the situation, because now their body understands and is producing its own melatonin at around this time, hopefully. But again, consult your child's doctor on dosage and whether melatonin is something that your child can take. Hopefully after 2 months, your routine has been set and this is helping your child to get a good night's sleep. It's recommended that for kids with autism and ADHD to get at least 9 hours of sleep. My kids, I think they get a little bit more than that, maybe 10 hours of sleep, and that helps for them. They are focused in the mornings when we do work, and there's less meltdowns throughout the day because they're not tired. I don't want you to feel like this is going to be like the end-all solution to everything, because my kids still have nights where they don't sleep and they're just up and about, but I think that's just, human beings. Everybody has nights where they're not sleeping, where they don't sleep their best. And for that, we have kept our baby cam from when our kids were babies, very young babies. We kept those, and we don't turn the monitor on all the time, but if we hear our child up moving about, we'll turn the monitor on just to make sure that they're fine, they're not getting into anything, but we do not go into their room, because as soon as we step foot in there, they're like, okay, it's time to get up now. Like, let's go and start the day. So the cameras come in handy, is that we can watch our kids, make sure that they're fine, but the hope is that they'll get back to sleep on their own. So anyway, that is the advice, the routine that worked for us. I hope it works for you all. I hope this video helps, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.